You are full of potential, but you feel like you lack the conditions to realize it. The world has become turbulent. Things are happening too fast and chaotically, slipping out of your control. It seems like you're unable to find and express your true self. You feel like your potentials remain untapped due to a lack of time and numerous obligations. You question the meaning of life, passing by in a rush and tension, often creating panic and anxiety. Don't worry, you're not alone. Everything you feel now, people, especially in turbulent historical periods, have felt since the very beginnings of civilization. Back in the early days of the new era in ancient Rome, the issue of people's dissatisfaction due to their inability to fulfill their potentials was deeply and thoroughly contemplated by the Stoics. The responses they offered on this matter don't appear outdated in the slightest. On the contrary, due to modern circumstances, they are more relevant than ever before. In this video, we present a Stoic perspective on the issue of a life that doesn't align with our personal talents and inclinations. The solution to this problem could be summarized by one of the fundamental Stoic principles: live in accordance with nature. At first glance, this principle may seem like a general statement, but soon enough we'll see that's not the case. The Stoics believed in a universal principle according to which everything happens as it must and should. They refer to it by various names: God, the world, nature, logos, the cosmos. Nature, according to the Stoics, doesn't just denote mountains, streams, meadows, forests and animals, but a higher reason that operates out of necessity, acting in the only possible way. Therefore, nature encompasses both material and spiritual phenomena. In Stoicism, there's no essential difference between God and nature. Both terms denote the overreaching, comprehensive force under whose laws everything that exists exists and everything that happens happens. Like other beings, humans are part of nature, but they differ in that they possess reason. Reason enables humans to comprehend the laws of nature and to speak about them. Even though they considered the study of nature important, the Stoics placed incomparably greater importance on the stance that a person should live in accordance with nature. It's not as crucial how much knowledge we possess about nature in its specifics and structure as it is the undeniable conviction that nature is a necessity which humans should calmly accept and live in harmony with its laws. Although humans have the capability to live in accordance with nature, they also have the ability to live in opposition to it. This very potential contradiction is the central problem of Stoic philosophy. Not only is it not necessary for humans to live in harmony with their nature, but it's also highly likely that they won't unless they practice doing so. Essentially, everything Stoicism teaches us aims to encourage and equip us to live in accordance with our nature to lead a virtuous life. You've probably heard the life lesson many times that goes, "Be yourself." Depending on how we interpret this statement, it can align perfectly with Stoic philosophy, or it can be entirely contradictory to it. If we interpret it as following our instincts and emotions, listening to our hearts, disregarding social opinions, thinking independently and making decisions based on that and the like, it's hardly related to Stoicism. However, if the statement "be yourself" implies a lifelong effort and practice to align oneself with the universal human nature that doesn't differ based on individual potentials and inclinations, then we're talking about Stoicism. The difference between the first and second interpretation lies in the fact that in the first case, we are called upon to liberate our individual potentials, talents, and affinities to the fullest extent, minimizing their constraint due to excessive consideration of other expectations. In contrast, in the second case, we are urged to completely free ourselves from concerns about not achieving our individual potentials as much as we'd liked due to various life obstacles. You might be surprised, but according to Stoic teachings, whether and to what extent we've fulfilled our personal desires is entirely irrelevant. Viewed through a Stoic lens, what's fundamentally important is aligning oneself with a nature that is universal for all humans. Consequently, be yourself means align with the universal human nature. But how do we define this universal human nature? What does it specifically consist of? Stoics actually don't provide a precise definition. There isn't an answer like universal nature is this or that, or this specific activity is natural while other isn't. Instead, the focus lies in everything happening according to a higher logic of nature, of which we might not have knowledge, but we need to be aware that we shouldn't resist the natural flow of events. Rather, we should accept it. Only by not resisting nature, we will be on the right path. What would specifically constitute living in accordance with nature? The Stoic response goes: everything that happens to us, literally everything, success and failure, fame and anonymity, victory and defeat, praise and criticism, wealth and poverty, health and illness, satiety and hunger, joy and sorrow, even life and death, aren't inherently good or bad in themselves. In other words, everything that appears good or bad to us isn't inherently good or bad in itself. Everything that happens to us comes from nature, and within nature operates a higher principle that adjusts everything according to cosmic reason. Good and bad don't exist in nature. They exist only in our perception. Depending on how we perceive both what pleases us and what doesn't, we can determine whether we are in harmony or in discord with nature. What distances us from nature are the passions. Among them are fear, desire, anger, and gluttony. These passions arise due to incorrect reasoning. The mistake lies in something external seeming too good or something else as too bad, while in reality nothing is either good or bad. Everything is natural, entirely adapted to we as humans are. We are capable of enduring everything that happens to us, otherwise nature wouldn't confront us with what it does. That's why for the Stoics, the most natural and therefore the best possible state to strive for is the state of apathy. Apathy today mostly carries a negative connotation, implying emotional numbness, indifference, and lack of motivation. However, in ancient Greece and Rome, it meant something entirely different, a state of freedom from passions or a state of impassivity. Apathy doesn't arise from painful experiences we go through, but is a result of voluntary training in mastering our own passions and the need for self-indulgence. In this sense, it doesn't make us grumpy or insensitive, but precisely enables us to perform our daily duties calmly and consistently without emotional distractions, maintaining mental and physical stability that results in joy. Passions are indicators that we are moving away from nature, so it's necessary to master them. However, that doesn't mean we can or should forbid them. What we can do is initially recognize them for what they are, an irrational, excessive reaction to occurrences in the world of which we are a part, and which are neither good or bad. When we perceive them as such, we act in a good, natural way. But when we fall into a state of being carried away by passions, it's an unnatural state of mind. Let's take as an example a situation that can trigger emotions like anger, resentment, and bitterness. Unfairness. Here's what Marcus Aurelius says about it. And since death and life, honor and shame, pain and pleasure, wealth and poverty, since all these things, which in their nature I say are neither honorable nor shameful, equally befall the honorable and the dishonorable, it follows from this very fact that neither true good nor true evil arise from these things. We see that a Roman emperor and a Stoic philosopher, in the fate's distribution of life circumstances that may seem unfair to us, don't perceive any problem. On the contrary, if nature governs everything according to higher reason and necessity, it cannot make such a mistake as to do evil to the good and good to the dishonorable. Rather, what wrongly appears to us as good and evil is in fact neither good nor evil. Optimistic, isn't it? It turns out that in life, things can't be bad for you unless you convince yourself that they are. The Stoic believe that it's not about what happens to us, but rather our thoughts and feelings about it will have a profound impact on ancient and medieval Christian philosophy, but also significantly on modern psychology and psychotherapy. Simply put, whatever happens to you, if you want to be in harmony with nature and yourself, don't make a big fuss about anything, no matter how blissful or horrifying it may seem.